Hello everyone, Russell Wright from networkempire.com and themezoom.com. It's so good to see you all here, and I do thank you for taking time out of your busy day to learn how to completely annihilate anyone else in your market in terms of traffic and insight and branding. Today we're going to talk about a few different aspects of this, and this is a question and answer, so I would really appreciate it if you would put inside the questions box any questions or specific themes and topics that you would like to talk about. You are valued members, and we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to ask a question. This is the time. So I hope you brought questions. If you didn't, get off the call. I'm just kidding.
Go find some questions.
I'm a little confused because there's no questions here, and we have other stuff to do, so what do you guys want to cover?
Markets to dominate.
Okay, let's just start a little bit until some questions coming in. I'm teasing. I'd like to welcome, hello Karen, I'd like to welcome you for the first time. Is that Karen or Karen? Okay, that must be Karen. It's probably a new member. I'd also like to welcome Lisa and Stephen. And of course, Tori, you're always great to have around.
Karen.
Lots of other folks coming in. Karen, okay. It's Karen with a C. Okay, Karen with a C. Great, nice to have you, Karen. Hello, Deb. It's really good to see you. And it looks like we have lots of people still dropping in on the call. I'm hoping that we'll be able to fill this call up. So go ahead and jot some questions down, because I got to be honest with you guys. It's like I'm kind of losing Sue. She's too popular and busy. So
I am busy. I'm plotting. I'm actually moving.
That's like the most ridiculous understatement I've ever heard. Okay. And it's also the same for me. Currently working on 50 sites simultaneously, so that's not as much as Sue would work on, but that is what I'm working on. So we have a lot of different stuff going on in our networks, and Sue and I have a mutual network, actually a couple of them, and I've got myself on one, and she's doing her projects. We have mutual clients, so there's lots and lots of stuff happening. But more importantly, our main focus is working on several programs that are going to be integrating all of these things. And the Pain Finder seems to be really exciting for people. Yeah, Sue was kind of, very gleeful the other day when I
was on one of our gracious
webinars. So we did work quite a while on it. We have other things that we're building that we can sneak out at some point, like the Twitter shredder is still on the list, and we have some other things. Google Plus is becoming super stable right now. Kostya and our programming team is working on that. I'm kind of delighted that I was able to nail the Google Plus as a need in the new course that I just put out for everybody called the 5, actually it's now called 5 traffic streams. It was originally called the 5 iframe punch. I actually show you a form of real-time news curation that I was hiding from you for almost a year. But then I decided I need to start sharing with you guys some of the shortcuts. That's available for you already, actually, inside the networkempire.com members area. If you go to traffic generation, you will see and click on traffic generation on the sidebar, drill a little bit deeper into the site, and you'll be able to see that new course. We'll talk more about that later, but I do reveal one of the many, many methods that Sue and I use Pain Finder for this time. We're also very excited about Pain Finder, you guys and gals, because as you might imagine, our $20,000 per person live certification events where we teach some of the secret stuff. One of the big challenges is people looking up questions by hand on Google and forums and different things like that. Well, that's just, forget about it. Forget about it. Okay, so now we have this. All right, let's just go ahead and look and see what we have going on. You can see, don't get Sue started on the Pain Finder. She's already in there, probably going to find all kinds of pain or create all kinds of pain, I'm not sure.
We've got a webinar coming up on Pain Finder later on in the month.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to back you up, because I know right where you're going. That's not scheduled for another week.
I could start and I could go until this time next week. Oh my goodness.
Intercept.
We've been playing around with bringing like 10 new domains online this week, and I slowed my partner down, and I'm like, let's just run a few Pain Finder questions and see what's going on. And the information we got back was so mind-bending that It's
Yeah, we'll get into more specifics. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to stop you
all
from
right, all
being
right,
totally
all right.
distracted.
So we have a
Yeah.
question already.
Well, that's my job. So
Okay.
back off from the questions. I'm currently in guard Sue mode.
I've
I'm very
had
defensive and
two
protective of Sue's time at this
coffees. What
point.
can I say?
Because when she gets like this, then she starts answering people's questions for free.
No, no, no. I mean, there's somebody's question on the call.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good.
I'm not answering that question unless
Do I
I come
need
to
a
certification of
website
that.
to review? Absolutely. We should tell her that.
That's they're asking a certification question. So let's try this one. Okay, Karen is saying I'm working on the local business with local businesses like insurance agents. How many accounts do you suggest for each ring? Like one set of accounts in WRS1 and one in WRS2. I think that your question needs to be honed a little bit. Sue, do you want to get this or should I get this? How do you want to handle this?
Well,
You've had the most coffee.
I've had the most coffee.
Yes,
I have indeed. So,
you certainly have.
like, the idea behind the WR1 is that those are your branded sites. And so typically you have one set of accounts for your WR1, for your branded accounts, and you've got usually more accounts for like more different platforms, a wider variety of platforms for your WR1 than you do for the 2s and 3s. And then 2s and 3s, it just depends. Like sometimes you can cluster some of the sites and reduce the number of accounts you need. Sometimes you don't want to cluster those sites in the WR2. There's a ton of different ways to approach your WR2 sites. They could be, you can have personas for them, or they can just be standalone sites. And definitely if you have personas, you're going to want your personas to appear very real, and so then you're going to want some social media accounts for them. And when you don't have personas, then you might just have like a Twitter account or something like that. And like to really go any further than that, like that the whole idea of W1s, 2s, and 3s is a huge holistic approach. And the reason why I don't go into it too much in the members area is because a lot of folks in there just have their hands full grasping all the concepts that we're putting out for the WR1 and the WRS1. So where we really cover the holistic approach to the downstream aware networks and all of the automation and all the account creation and the whole big picture is in certification. So that kind of gives you an idea, but if you want more information than that, then you might want to consider certification.
Yeah, the main reason, and again, all kidding aside, I'm not trying to just be standoffish about our certification and stuff. It's not that we're being all secrety and all that kind of stuff. It's just that it's really easy to confuse you. If you keep it clean with your WR1, your primary transaction stuff, and you have a persona for every blog, that's probably the safest way that I can talk to you about it. And the persona is unique, and whether you use a person on your staff or whether you use a pseudo person, I'm not going to incriminate myself in any way by saying that there's a right or wrong way to do it. We have some clients that have used staff members for very large sites. We have some people who make up fake personas for their dashboard on their secondary networks. But absolutely the core that Sue is really saying here is that we need you to have an insight into your brand. Google, as you probably have noticed, is quickly taking over the universe in so many ways. They're surrounding the camp. You are going to have a Gmail account at some point or a dashboard if you're going to play at all. They're making sure of that. So you probably want to get a keyword-based Gmail account tied to your dashboard and at least one Google Plus account, especially with your brand, or a biz page to cover your brand name. Otherwise, somebody else is going to grab it. And that can be your branded, Google Plus and your branded persona on your WR1. So you can tell your biz networks that, or your insurance guys, that they should have their branded persona in the Google Plus page. This is why in the Google Plus RSS feed we do make both your Google Plus ones, what we call your shallow plus, which is simply plussing something either with your bookmarklet or with Google without adding a status update. And then there's also your personal status update, and then there's a biz page. So we'll get into all of that in the Google Plus course, so please Yeah, and Karen, I know that you want to know about the WRS2. It's just too complex to get into right here because there's things that we have to show you in person. Or through you can also visit networkempirecoaching.com. I'm sorry to put it off like that, like upsell you on something. But the thing is that if I say something about your WR2 network and you do it wrong or you miss, and we do not show that kind of stuff on the webinars because it's classified, and not only that, it's a little confusing.
It's
and
just easily to get confused,
it's easily confused, and that's why it's classified, because if we start, everybody's situation is a little bit different, and the big issue you're going to have to determine is whether to use your real persona or create a staff member persona or a fake persona. How else can I say it? That's as far as I'll go with it. But you have to determine it, and 100% depends on your client, and 100% depends on what you're going to do with that plus. Looks like Craig is asking a great question, Sue.
Okay.
I've been watching one feed to rule them all, and it stops just before going into Google++ in more detail. Should we be parsing our Google++ feed into Yahoo pipes with our main site and Samsung? What the hell is that?
Samsung, he means the plugin.
Oh, Samsung.
That's okay.
You mean Samsung. Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just saw the stereo brand. And simply follow the steps as per the other feeds. Also, you can create a feed at bulkping.com. Yeah, I don't use bulkping. Should we be creating as many feeds as possible and piping them all? Yeah. No. Okay, let me just slow you. Whoa, Tonto. Okay. Okay. The first thing that happens when people get all feedy is they start thinking that more is better. And it's literally not true. Remember, Yahoo Pipes is an aggregator. The good news is I'm not supposed to announce the fact that Sue is building a replacement for Yahoo Pipes. Anyway, we have a replacement for Yahoo Pipes. It'll be here shortly. I wasn't supposed to say that, was I, Sue? Okay.
That's okay. Cat's out of the bag now.
I'm sorry. All right. Anyway, Yahoo Pipes is a way to slice and dice feeds, right? In the one feed course, I can't remember. Oh, yeah. We show you how to slice and dice with that. The more the merrier is not necessarily the case. It really depends. Yeah, it's not really what you want to do. Remember, let me just be brutally honest here. The power with feeds is almost always an open. Sue, you may have a different perspective on this, but I'm going to give mine from the now hundreds of audio, automated video stuff thing that I'm doing, Open Graph and all that. If it doesn't have images or video, I'm not getting the same kind of traffic. I've started to realize that the RSS feeds that are doing really well, people are stealing those feeds because of the video content and the Open Graph content. So that's one reason. Okay, the Google Plus feed is just great because once you put the feed out through the RSS submit, then you tend to get your Google Plus syndicated. I do definitely get traffic from my Google Plus microblog. Think of Google Plus not as a social platform, but as like a microblog. And I most definitely do get traffic from individual posts. Even posts that I've had out for 2 years, I'm still getting traffic on. Okay, now the point is that when you put these out into the feeds, you are more likely to get ranked, and I am noticing a ranking boost for my Google Plus posts when I go to the RSS directories.
Right.
Okay, and that's nice. Like for example, if I'm ranked number 6 for I don't know, let's say the post title is how to create a Google Plus RSS feed. And then I put it out through the RSS directories and people start pulling that feed and stealing the content, and I can't really tell you much about that here, but it really depends on the topic and the theme and how technologically oriented the niche or the market is as to whether they steal stuff but right now a lot of video feeds are getting parsed and pushed into new content. So it's kind of steal this feed. So that's one reason for it. But the Google Plus stuff, I notice when I put them out through the directories, and once they get backlinks and are parsed and to the directories, you get some improved ranking on that, and then of course you get more if the keywords have been well thought out on your Google Plus, which is why I use my blog posts to automate. I automate my blog posts on my WR2 network and syndicate them directly to my Google Plus feeds on my secondary networks. Then the keywords that you're ranking for and getting traffic to are fairly well ranked, and that's just your Google Plus microblog. Does that make sense? Okay, he says, yeah, I mean the plugin. I'm not following that.
Oh, he was talking about Samson. That was from a couple minutes ago. One other thing I'll say in regards to your Google Plus and Yahoo Pipes and all of your other feeds is you don't want to braid two feeds together that are essentially going to have the same content. So in other words, if your blog is feeding out to your Google Plus account, then your blog feed and your Google Plus feed are going to be very similar. And if you braid those two things together, it's going to look like dupe content.
Yeah, totally.
So
You don't really
just
want to
be
do
aware.
that.
Yeah, you want to braid it with other things, maybe like that's why in the course we talk about finding authority feeds and those kinds of things where it provides some diversification.
Yeah, and we saw evidence early on. I haven't tested this lately, but when you mix a very high RSS page rank, like a high YouTube video channel, when you have, there's a couple of things that PageRank indicates. It indicates popularity and interest, but it also integrates interest. So it's not like, for example, if I take O'Reilly Media, that's a PageRank 7 YouTube video channel. Their videos get a lot of views, but they're also great headline writers.
Right.
So when I'm pulling a feed, it's just not only about the PageRank, it's about the topics in that industry that are interesting. And that's really what it's becoming all about. We have a webinar coming up at the end of the month. Many of you heard that the new thing on the new buzz on the SEO vine is, no, really, SEO is really dead this time. Okay, and so
to the point that Moz took it out of their name.
Yeah, Moz removed SEO. Moz is no longer SEO Moz, it's Moz. I actually understand why they did that. I mean, it's not good if they're going to remove a kind of meme that they don't want to use in the future, and Rand is making a prediction. I can understand why they do that. The thing is that from the perspective of what Sue and I teach, it's just kind of nonsense what's being said. What's really dead is spam.
Yeah.
And as Sue was talking, and she's going to talk to you about this, it's going to be exclusively her, and I'm going to shut up. No, really, I'm going to shut up in that webinar at the end of the month. And so I just want to talk to you about that. The plugin, Craig, let's take a look. Let's just take a look at everything. Why don't we open up? I hate to talk about other people's plugins, especially plugins that are, maybe we should have had that open.
What do you want open?
Well, I was going to talk to him about Samson. I think that people really need to understand what the RSS theory is all about. Craig, I'm trying to remember the guy who wrote Samson. I've talked to him several times. Now it's Conrad. What Conrad tried to do with Samson, let's talk about that a second. So I'm kind of all over the map here. I'm trying to answer your question, but I can tell after I reread it that I'm not really explaining the theory, the principles, the core ideas behind RSS. RSS feeds are just simply a great way to automate a link. That's what they are. What Conrad had tried to do is he created a feed that did a kind of spooky thing, and really the USP or the ISD, the invention behind that Samson that makes it something other than just a wasted space on your blog, which most plugins are these days, is he created a relationship and he created a situation where a lot of those sites that are automatic PHP sites that generate a backlink for PHP, what's the best way to describe that? If we could have Samson open on one of our blogs, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's in news, isn't it?
Network Empire News. Yeah, I think I have that in there still. Nobody try to hack my blog now. Okay, so that'll be one less blog to manage, thank goodness. Yeah, let's just open it up because I don't want people to. Craig's question confuses me not confuses me, concerns me because there's just a lot of different things. Let me see. Should we be parsing our Google++ feed into Yahoo pipes? No. With our main site, don't splice. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me just keep it simple, Craig. You don't need to splice Google+ with anything. The core benefit is just to get it out there. Now you can, like you could splice it in and intermix it with videos or so on and so forth. But really, just the real purpose, what you want to do with your Google+ feed is to get it out there and in the blog directories. Okay, because that'll be enough.
Yeah.
really, for this. You don't need to worry about that. So therefore, Samson is a completely different topic. Okay, so I've just explained that you do not need to use Google Plus. Now, please know that when Sue and I tell you guys anything or say anything, we're never, never, never saying don't experiment. In fact, I hand out awards for the most innovative and spin on anything that we've said. Okay, I like innovation because no one of us knows as much as all of us, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff is extremely innovative. So what Conrad tried to do here, let's go over to Samson and what it actually is. Samson's confusing to people for the first time, and I got to be honest with you guys. Its benefit is on a scale of 1 to 10. It's worth doing, but it's not a 10. So what he does is that the link that Sue is showing you here is this is an RSS feed created by the Samson technology, and it creates its own unique feed, and you have to consider, like PingFresh, which I'll talk to you on another webinar about, which I just love. It creates its own unique feed. You have to handle this feed differently than anything else. Don't stick that feed into things like OnlyMore and the rest, otherwise you go broke in like 24 hours because, especially on auto blogs like mine that I'm posting like 90 videos a day and getting traffic to all of those, by the way. You don't want, if you have a blog that's really publishing a lot of stuff, you want to be careful. You don't want to do backlinks. What this feed is creating, where's the RSS feed, Sue?
Right here.
Sorry, I'm kind
It's okay.
of scattered. Click on one of those RSS feeds and it'll explain a lot to people. The feeds that he's creating.
Okay, so this is the consolidated feed of all the feeds, and then for any one feed, you can see that. You can see the feed here, and you can see the backlinks that it's generating here. So it's going to make a feed for every single post.
Right, and that's why when you set it up, you're giving the different language and keywords, because you can see, just slow down here and see what it's doing, guys. Useful RSS marketing website. My favorite website for RSS marketing. Now, when you manually set up the feed, you've actually given it those keywords.
Yeah.
Okay, so trusted how-to. All he's doing is he's going to take those, but actually click on one of the links. That's what I really want you to do. So they understand the limits of what this thing is. What Conrad did when he designed this is not a very good one. That's an example of the mostly crap you get when this thing creates.
Just kill this part.
There's websites out there kind of like that give you very, very low quality backlinks, but you're doing it consistently and you're doing tens of thousands of them with the Samson thing. And
these are the actual backlinks. Let's just look at one of those.
Yeah, and the backlinks that are created is it's really kind of innovative. And if you started doing this on a massive scale, like if you had a complete server dedicated to just doing this, you would actually raise some page rank points across your network if you did it properly. But you got to understand, in small doses, it's really, really not that useful. So that's why you need to continually do it. And we only recommend real focus on your. There it is again. Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening is show another link that actually shows a PHP site. Just grab anyone like at the bottom.
See if I can find one. Yeah, let me go down a little bit.
So this is nothing you would ever want to do manual. Its effects are marginal, but its effects are tiebreakers in certain instances in large amounts.
So what it's actually doing is creating a link off of here. So you come in here, and it's using ilo.org to create a link for you. And it's just, that's where they're not.
And so, yeah, what happened is that Conrad, and we have some extra ones too, you can add your own.
Yeah.
There's a list of sites out there that they automate when a visitor comes from a specific site, they actually on the fly create a link. And then that link stays there on their site. It's an incredibly low quality link, but it is on a site that usually has PageRank. And if you consistently do a lot of those, it can act as a tiebreaker for some rankings. Okay. Now sometimes these sites disappear, but he does have a few .gov sites, some city sites, some city hall sites that have those PHP things on there. And so you have a little bit of backlink juice happening to every post that you do in a unique feed. So you're not compromising any of your other feeds. And what happens is when you put that feed, the Samson feed, to the directories, you are getting a little bit of juice. It's like backlinks to your backlinks, really. There you go.
There's one.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you see that link right there. That's like a nothing, zero page rank. And Sue and I have had a lot of conversation about this, but the theory is if you have really crappy and almost completely useless backlinks to something, it's way better than having no backlinks at all, because you start to create your link diagram. You start to create your link circumference on that. So what's great, you would never even give any consideration to this if you couldn't automate it. So what Samsung does is it automates that type of stuff, and large scale over time, that will provide some juice and some activity, and more importantly, some pinging, to your various items. Okay, so that's really all that Samsung is. So we don't really want you to get distracted by it.
Definitely.
Yeah, Craig asked, is Samsung Google friendly with all the crappy backlinks? It's not unfriendly because there's nothing negative about those links.
But what I would not, like, if you rely 100% on Samsung, it's not going to get you ranked for Jack.
No, it will do nothing.
You need to supplement it with some quality thematically related links. And then,
yeah, exactly.
But it's good, like, the cool thing about Samsung, especially if you have it loaded into your blog, is that it's constantly providing noise for older posts.
Precisely. It gets things moving. I prefer PingFresh for posts that fall off the radar altogether. But you want to get, what's happening online right now is very strange. It's always been happening, but the frequency of publish, the activity, it's almost as if the whole parameter, and see, we'll talk about this at the end of the month, the whole parameter is like activity is almost becoming more important than, like if you don't have any activity on your blog, you got to get the bots moving. And then the other thing is that now they're going to really be clamping down on that. We may change our mind about this plugin at any day. And as soon as we do, we'll notify everybody. But right now it's still working. But what I want to make sure, yeah, you can, Karen, Sue, can I talk honestly about my Linklicious test?
Sure.
Because Karen's asking about it.
Sure.
Okay, let me save you guys, like, how much was it? $400 of testing, plus my time. Conrad allowed people to put Linklicious in, and you can pay $50 a month and have a Linklicious API. Okay, guys, I would really reallocate that funding, if you have limited funding, to things like OnlyWire and, more importantly, Linkvine. Okay, or Link Pipeline. I'm sorry, not Linkvine. Karen, you can't get a Linklicious API for $17. It's $51 or 50 something, unless they've changed it, in which they have. I'm sorry. Okay, but when I was doing it a month ago, you had to have the $51 version to have an API feed. The 17 is manual. Okay, don't do it. Just don't waste your time. That's my personal. Actually, let me just rephrase that. Let me explain my results and share my results and what they were. Sue is kind of privy to what I was doing. We were automating different Linklicious things. I talked to the owners a couple times, this and that. What they're essentially doing is they got this server, several servers actually, and Google is just spidering the crap out of all of the links that come through there. So what happens with that API is they scrape all those, they scrape actually, they ping the RSS feed, and what I found out about Samsung is they won't take an RSS feed and provide unique links. And so what Conrad did with Samsung is he created a function that allows it, when it goes over to Linklicious, each one of those links on the Samsung RSS that Sue showed will become its own link and submitted so that it can be crawled by the spiders. The idea being that these are such crappy links that they're not going to get crawled, right? Not a terrible idea. But again, Sue and I do things on a really large scale, and we had I had something like 1 million links push through there in like less than a month. I mean, it got ridiculous with Samsung, right?
Yeah, it does.
And what happened is that when I started going back and looking, like when I went into like 100,000 deep or whatever, Linklicious really couldn't keep up on a large scale with getting things indexed. And I was finding that almost none of the PHP pages that were being created by Samsung were getting indexed in a reasonable amount of time, although some of them were. And it's just like anything else, you guys. It's like that Hendersonville site that Sue just showed you, that was getting linked. That was getting indexed. Like the quality sites were getting pinged, like sites that had PageRank on their main index page and the rest. So it's just like anything else, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And Conrad has a few good things in there, but a few of them are crap. So these things are just like automated things that you can do that are tiebreakers, and you don't have to worry, Craig, about anything going bad. Like you're not going to get jettisoned because this RSS feed is not even coming from you. Look at the RSS feed. It's Samsung. If you go back to the RSS feed, it doesn't say. It gets the bots moving, gets things happening, but if you look at the RSS feed itself under campaign, yeah. No, it's under
manage campaigns.
Yeah.
Here, Network Empire feed equals
yeah,
Samsung.
It is networkempire.com. Yeah, but there's been no. I mean, there's not even a when you have a lot of really other good links coming in, like we do have some, the less crappy ones, one step up from this is like OnlyWire link pipeline. And then the really high quality links are articles that people are directing, your curated articles, your all the things that we teach you in your traffic stuff, right?
Yep.
Your high quality things coming in from, the other sites that you're doing. So when you're stacking them like this, you're creating an assortment of links, but you need to do all of them. So Linklicious is not really where you want, if you guys are on a budget, Linklicious is not where you want to allocate your resources, unless you're doing really, really well, and $50 a month is not a waste for you. And even then, I'm not so sure. Like I walked away from that experiment, which is a 60-day experiment, just going, for $50 I can get some higher quality backlinks than that. And spidering, there's better things that I can do with my $50 than having Linklicious spider really, really crappy backlinks that are going to get indexed because on the better sites anyways. So that's kind of where I sit with it right now. In other words, the directory is enough. Take your and interestingly enough, Conrad does not teach this. Take your Samson RSS feed that Sue just showed you and put it through your RSS submit like we talked about in
the one-sheet course.
Yeah, but don't bother with a Linklicious. It's just not waste your, take that $50 and put your chip somewhere else on the table. Does that make sense, Karen? Okay.
So the one thing that I would say about this too, I was just looking around to see if he had maybe a new version, but it doesn't say anything about it. However, there is in the URL list, you can go in here and update this. So I would be inclined to come in here, and since we found, when I was just spot checking, I found a bunch of them that no longer seem to be viable. I'd probably go in and remove those, just so that you've got a higher signal to noise ratio.
Yeah. And also, guys, I'm glad you're asking these questions, and I really don't want you to spend more than 1% of your brain power on Samson. I mean, it's useful, and when it's up and running, it's awesome. And it's just something that's kind of humming along in the background. It's not going to cause any problems, but its help is marginal. And you want to automate as many of those things as you can. I also use something that is not, I personally, in my own business, use something called PingFresh that's been doing really, really well. And it's all running on a cron as well. And what that does is that if anything, I will provide you, actually I have provided you a example, a video of how it works. It will crawl, I only crawl once a day or once every 2 days. And what it does is it just checks once every 30 or 40 days. And if a bot or traffic hasn't gone to a blog post in a certain amount of time, and I have it set for 45 days, it'll re-ping and republish. You can set it to republish if you want. You don't have to. That blog post, so your content never goes dry. I kind of like that. That way things are always moving forever, okay, through your blog stuff. And you can even assign posts and all other kinds of things. So Samson's just, it's a tiebreaker type situation. It's fodder and junk. It's not dangerous, but it does keep the energy moving on the site. And we have definitely noticed benefits and campaign benefits when using it. Okay, let's see what other kind of questions we have today. I'm going to see if I answered all of Craig's. Craig, I can't talk to you about bulk ping. I use Pingler, so I can't really give you the difference between bulk ping and Pingler. So I'm sorry about that. I've heard a little bit about it, but I haven't made that connection with it. He's also, this is really long, he also says, finally, with regards to Google Plus influencers, our niche, shall we pipe these in Yahoo pipes with ours too? Yeah, I hope this makes sense. You're talking about influencers, yeah. I have never, I'll be honest, I've really thought about this, but I have never blended Google Plus with other authority folks. If I were to do something like that, I would probably blend myself with like Bruce Clay or something like that, or with Sue Bell or something like that. I've never really done that. Why don't you give it a try and let us know how it goes? It's a great idea. I don't really know what kind of an effect that will be, but it will probably create a unique feed out of that. And another thing I would say, Craig, is like don't not experiment with this stuff if you've got the time to do it. Try blending some stuff and seeing if you get any rankings, higher rankings on your Google Plus posts, and see if you blend with other authorities because they are an authority, and if they're getting Googled more than you are, see if you get some of that traffic. I think that would actually be a kind of interesting experiment, but it's not one that I've done. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't think Sue would tell you to do it, but I'm,
Oh, I
kind of
would.
curious.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
would.
it's kind of an interesting idea, and I would be interested in knowing your results. And I'm sorry that
Yeah,
gosh, I just haven't had time.
the interesting thing with Google Plus is they're still giving what seems like extra link juice to the
Oh
Google
yeah,
Plus links. And
yep,
so, and Google has a tendency of doing this when they come out with a new product. I think they're trying to get, they leak the fact that it provides extra kudos with the idea that more people will jump on the bandwagon and take.
oh yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I suspect that that's the case. Anyway, there still seems to be extra link juice coming from your G Plus links, and so the reason why I would try to get them out there as much as possible and braid those feeds with authorities and that kind of thing is just to get as much backlink juice to that G Plus account, and so that it passes that enhanced page rank back to your website and blog. So and just like the more exposure you can get for your content. G Plus seems to have had a recent revival. I thought there for a minute that it had gone kind of dormant and might actually die,
Told
but
you.
but Google's done some tricks and breathed some more life into it, so it seems to be picking up again. So I would definitely play with it.
Yeah, yeah, and there is some weird fluctuation happening. Like I follow a few celebrities on Google Plus because I'm trying to watch what PageRank is doing, with certain posts, and it's really weird. Like sometimes you'll see celebrities have PageRank. It's like one celebrity I followed, Jerry Ryan from Star Trek. She had like a PageRank 5 to that, and then it goes down and then disappears, and so they're just working on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, okay, well, the bottom line is if you start looking for your post and you start doing keyword searches on your post, you'll find that you're ranked, in Google on the personal side of things, and that's where it matters. So if you have Google Plus, you can use it in different places. I strongly recommend that on your Google Plus About Us page that you connect, especially your WR1, your primary brand of blogs, that you connect services, landing pages, and profile pages, again, that are branded to your About Us on Google Plus. I've noticed some effects of being able to do that, okay, so that you're just kind of, creating a central location for your About. Not everything. I'm not talking about your WR2s. I'm just saying your main branded stuff. There's no issue in doing that.
I have a totally unrelated question I want to ask everybody. Can I ask a question?
No.
Mm.
Of course you
What
can. You can do whatever you want. You always do what you want.
What kind of results did you guys?
asking me?
No, I'm not. What kind of results have you guys seen from last week's Panda? Did anybody go up or down or sideways? Thanks, Deb. I've seen some really interesting results with my rankings, and it seems like EMDs that got pinged so hard a couple of pandas ago got a reprieve. And I was just, exact match domains, not to use too much jargon. So I was just wondering what you guys had seen, if anything. Ooh, ouch. 10 sites. 10 spots for like your primary keyword, Karen? Ouch. Craig noticed that EMDs are back up. All right.
Oh, interesting.
Is that an EMD, Karen, and that keyword?
I never noticed any EMDs going down. Everybody talked about it, but I didn't notice.
No, I didn't notice it either. None of my EMDs went down, but this time I noticed a lot of EMDs come back up. A couple of them even knocked me off of some of my #1 perches, and they were totally not, their SEO stunk, and so I was wondering what other people were seeing. That's a good comment, Stephen. We'll come back around to that.
The only thing that I noticed is I was hallucinating like pandas walking around my room. Like I have a panda like in the corner looking at me, like a penguin.
Cute. Is he cuddly?
No, not at all. He's very threatening looking.
Oh, like with teeth.
Almost sinister. Yeah.
Ooh.
Like he's going to come at me if I do anything at all, like I'm about to do this seriously Black Hat network,
Ah.
He gives me this evil grimace.
Can you like slide some kind of
Well,
hood over his head or something like
yeah.
that?
I'm just going to toss a blanket over him because I
Okay,
have one.
that works.
Yeah, especially when I'm doing the Black Hat stuff because, I don't
Or
want
you
him to see
just
how
put a big black hat on his head and then he can't say anything.
That would be interesting. Or I could just teach him how to do Black Hat.
There you go.
I could just get rid of the term Black Hat altogether.
Kevin, Stephen wants to know if we've rigged any keyword spreadsheets to move a static site to WordPress.
There's a few ways you can do that.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
I have somebody that needs to do that too, actually, Sue. It's going to be a big copy and paste job, really.
Well, I can actually think of a couple of ways to do that.
But we don't have anything.
But I haven't done anything yet. But that actually gives me a really good idea. Let me.
Exactly. I was thinking about that because, why anybody would ever want to move from a really fast-loading HTML page to WordPress, I'll never guess. Except they want the plugins and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, it's all the rage.
Yeah, I know. But do you think about that, Stephen? Let me just tell my story. We have an HTML system that Sue built with Kelley.
Conquistador.
It's called Conquistador, and ThemeZoom.com is on it. Other sites that we build for clients are on it. It loads so incredibly fast. And, okay, you guys probably all know this, but I've been a WordPress addict for, like 3 years now, even back before Sue would even let me use it. Yeah, okay, whatever. Kelley always... Shut up. Kelley actually really detests WordPress. Anybody in Sue's camp that's highly technical like she is doesn't like WordPress because it's highly insecure. Unless you're doing the hardening WordPress protocols, and you guys know all that, I'm sure. We have different levels of skill. But here's the thing. When I throw, say, 100,000 visitors at my network in the health industry, and some of those visitors go off of my WR2 network, and there's a percentage of those that click through to the transaction blog. Right now it's at about 1.4 to 2.5%, depending upon the topic. So when they hit that video site or that social site or that meme site or whatever, those sites I know load slow, even if I have them on a content delivery network, which, by the way, guys, you probably all want to really seriously look into for WordPress. Even Yoast, all of our other cohorts are using content delivery because you just gotta. Use either MaxCDN or Cloudflare. Anyway, when they go to, it's just such a relief when they hit those blogs and hit the banner on the blog or the product, the conversion, the call to action, and then they go to the money site at the center of the bullseye that Sue had up earlier at the beginning of this call. And when they hit that center transaction site, which is the actual number 1 on this chart, can you just hover over that, Sue? The 1? Just open it up there. Click on it.
Oh.
Truthfully, when they hit that transaction site and it's pure HTML, the load time, especially the front hit and different things, it's like seconds faster, even from content delivery networks. And it's so nice to know that you can hit something with 10,000 visitors in whatever 15 minutes or whatever, and nothing's going to happen. Just HTML, nobody notices the load time. Like the site with the WordPress blog, because it's accessing a database, you really do have limits unless you're doing a Cloudflare type thing, or you really have to be kind of advanced to set up a WordPress blog to not lose load time on that. So that's just my 2 cents there. I have talked Sue into bringing Conquist. I think I have. Sue, just hit me if this is not true. No? Oh, you haven't decided? I shouldn't say anything?
We'll do something.
Okay. Well, we want to make sure that you guys have the ability to create HTML pages, silo pages, if you want. I build, WordPress silo stuff all the time. This is the way you want to do it. Just make sure you use a content delivery network. Guys, if you're driving 100,000 visitors in 15 minutes to that site, just make sure you're prepared for that. That's my point. With an HTML site, you don't have to worry about that, Stephen. So that's my kind of rant on that, is just be aware that there are serious advantages to having HTML over WordPress if you're driving lots of traffic, which, of course, I know you are because you're using our stuff.
Karen's next question. She wants to know what we think about sites like You Like Hits that stimulate the WR2, simulate, I think is what she means, WR2 and WR3 YouTube views, and YouTube views. And I have to say, we've played around a little bit with You Like Hits, and I haven't, from what I've seen on the analytics side, I haven't seen any significant results. What about you, Russ?
I'm just trying to find the questions so I can specifically answer.
It's like 6 up from the bottom. What do you think is how it starts?
Okay, I have a lot to say about You Like Hits, but I'm not going to say it here. I've got the spec right here, actually, and I've already pitched Sue on it. What I do like, they don't have. What I do want, they don't have. You Like Hits for WR2 and WR3.
Simulate the WR2s and WR3s and YouTube videos.
No, they don't simulate.
But that's what she says.
Stimulate. She's saying stimulate.
Okay.
Okay, and they absolutely do.
Okay.
But you got it. The problem with it is, if you take a look at You Like Hits, Karen, I've got a server running it automatically right now somewhere in Canada and another server somewhere else. The problem with it is that there's no rotation. They don't offer that kind of stuff, and that rotation needs to be written. So I've got a design here. Actually, I'm sitting right here on the spec. If anybody wants to pitch in and build it with us, we'll bring you in. But it's got to be RSS driven, you guys. In other words, if my You Like Hits account is loaded up with like 90,000 hits that I bought on Fiverr for $5, which is getting ridiculous now how low the price is going. When You Like Hits sells over $25, you can buy the same thing on Fiverr for $5. You know, think about it. I just dropped you a really great hint there, by the way. But you got to understand the difference between that and what's actually happening. If I can't rotate let's say I've got an automatic RSS feed coming out of my automatic video blog or my meme blog, and these are things that we'll be showing you guys how to build over the next year. When you have that stuff going out there, I only want 50 or 60 tweets, pluses, and whatever on that. I don't want 500. I don't want. They give you no way to regulate or automate a network through You Like Hits. There's a few other services that do provide like pseudo automation, but none of them are RSS driven. I talked to one of the directors of You Like Hits and said, dude, this sucks. Like, let me give you an example. You can put in a Twitter post right in there for retweeting, just like you can on it's the same with the retweet company out there that's being used, but you guys are probably familiar with it. There's a company called Twitter backlinks and all that. Sue and I tested the crap out of all that stuff. And we just wanted to shoot ourselves in the head because I'm talking to the programmer at You Like Hit at Twitter backlinks and You Like Hit saying, you know, give us an RSS feed. I mean, do you realize how useful that would be? I would literally buy $1,000 worth of Twitter backlinks from you a month if you would give me a frickin' RSS feed. But they don't. So you got to go in there and manually put your Twitter tweet that you want backlink. It's all manual. So the spec that we've written right now, Karen, is something that if you've got 500 blogs and they're all being automated through videos and RSS and the rest, and you're running that through a network, you would put a feed into one of these services and you would regulate the number of tweets, pluses, pins, and everything else that you get. And so once you get that amount, it would move on to the next page on the feed that came out of your blog. Without that, I am not interested because I've done a lot of experimentation. I've done a lot of talking to these guys, and what Sue and I decided is just something you got to build for yourself, and so we kind of are. And it's not that hard. But the other thing is that you don't want to spend a lot of money in that because 90% of these accounts are junk accounts, right? I mean, you take a look at TweetAdder that just shut down. That's another, want to blow your own head off kind of thing. It's like TweetAdder, we've had to completely replace and rebuild different aspects of it because they went out of business because they got sued by Twitter, right? Well, yeah, I mean, I can kind of see why. We were driving thousands of clicks to Twitter armies through that system and other systems. Unfortunately, we have backup things we can use. But they went out of business. So to answer your question, Karen, is that always, always, always do what Sue taught me to do. Think about it like this. If you can't automate a massive stream of social actions through an RSS feed and select the parameters that's not manually for each blog post, then how useful is that? Right? I mean, I've got something like 5,000 videos a day going up onto the web. I want Google Pluses and likes and tweets to all those things. Well, that's not going to happen for you like kids because they have no RSS feed. I'm not going to go in there and manually, track the social activity, across, 500 of our blogs. I can't. It's physically impossible. So that's why I don't like it. Hopefully that explains what we're designing now. Okay, well, you say you use a bot, but you have your assistants doing what? Like what, going in there and like, what, the index page? Or it's the posts you want. You want buoyant social rank. Adding posts? That sounds terribly expensive for very little result. You might want to talk to us about that. I can't see you ever getting a benefit on that. I mean, think about it, Karen. The 24, the auto hit stuff, 90% of those accounts are fake. They're pre-made accounts. There will be some social stuff that you get from it. But what you really want is the combination of real social traffic to those things. And I suppose if you are getting even 5% of real people on some of those posts, just please remember, Karen, that the effects of even fake traffic, like the You Like Hits and all these other services, whether or not you get any human activity at all, or what Sue and I call cybernetic activity, that is human and bot, is going to be 100% on the coolness of the pictures and the open graph on the posts that you're putting through there. Okay, so if you're pinning, you probably get, I have noticed that people are getting some pretty good results on Pinterest, as long as the Pinterest posts are getting indexed. You guys, I strongly recommend if you're going to use You Like Hits and other things for pinning, please be sure that you're pinning videos primarily, because that's where you get your double A-frame punch. That's where you get your double traffic. You can kill two birds with one stone. Okay, and just my concern, Karen, is I'm hearing you have outsourcing doing it. My question to you is, what is the traffic you're getting? Go and show me a Snagit shot of the traffic. Yeah, YouTube B views I've used as well. Can I make a suggestion? Do not use that service on your WR1 video channels. Like, please. I've had videos completely removed from that service, like just gone. A note from YouTube saying,
Sorry.
Yeah. So I guess, Karen, the reason we set up the WR2 networks is just to really be aware. Go back all the way to the center of the frame. What is the purpose of getting, those YouTube views? It's to get rankings, right? If you're getting rankings for those videos and you're getting traffic to your main site from the description, that's what I hear you saying, Karen. If that's happening, then you're doing great. But you should be getting all those videos ranks, right? And if you've never had a video removed and shut down by one of those services, then what can I really say? Let me know how it's going. I experimented with once with a service similar to YouTube views, and I had one of my videos removed. Fortunately, the channel was not banned, so I guess that you would just be careful with it. And I really can't speak to YouTube views because I'm not currently using it now. Just be careful, guys. Do tests. Like throw 100,000 visitors or 100,000. That's kind of my new rule now, 100,000. Okay, you don't supercharge them. That's good. Like just do some real. Try to break a service that you're using, but do it on a channel that you don't care about.
Exactly.
Do some real. Karen, do supercharge them.
Find the limits.
Yeah, before you have an outsourcer, or Sue and I are really into breaking shit. Pardon my French. I learned that from her, actually. Like, break it. Like, I go to Sue, Mom, can I have money for, like, 200,000, blah, 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 And we're like, yeah, sure, and then, poof, it's gone. Oh, sure glad we didn't run that to our primary channel, right? So test everything, you guys. Test. Spend the extra money. And, Karen, before you hire an outsource team, because then you're wasting money on the test first, and then the money you've stacked onto the outsourcers is not going to be lost when you lose that income stream. And you guys, do the real stuff first. Automate your Twitter with Twitter feed. Automate your Facebook fan pages. Oh my God, I just gave you a huge secret. All right? Automate. I'm talking WR2 Facebook fan pages. I just gave you a huge secret. Before you do all that other crap, run an RSS feed through your fan page using Twitter feed or something like it. okay, and then create about 5,000 fake friends on it to bring up your Facebook edge rank all the way up. And all of a sudden, Facebook edge rank collides with Google traffic, and you get this really weird thing. It's actually Bing and Google. You get this really weird thing happening where people are finding your page. Okay, and here's another secret. Take that Facebook fan page that you've automated's like box and include it on every single page of your automatic blog post on your WR2 network. All of a sudden you wonder, where are all these frickin' followers coming forward and arguing about useless automated things that I'm not even paying attention to on your fan pages? Well, what's happening is they're hitting your websites that are automated that have a like box inside every post. And they find something that you've automated that they love, and they go in there and they socialize it. And then they end up going to your fan page because you've got a like box on there. All of a sudden you're 1,000 authentic followers up because you've used a combination of EdgeRank, artificial followers, and Facebook like boxes embedded in your blogs that have anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000 pages. And then you start sucking in real human souls into your social network. See what I'm saying? Good. I should never have given you guys that.
No.
Okay,
all right. We're going
topic.
to go back to Craig's question. He's asking about blog silo and the whole blog mirroring, the theme mirroring between the blog and the website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I realized not too long ago, maybe a month or so ago, that I didn't break this down really well. So let me give this a try.
Okay.
What you can do, what you want to do is, let's say that this is your website, right? And it's normally it's only going to be 3 layers deep. If you've got an e-commerce site or if you've got a large market, then it's going to be 4 levels deep. And typically what you want to do on your blog is you just want to mirror this part of your website. Now, if you've got a huge site, if you're actually trying to dominate a market, and you've got content down here on this 4th site, it's not just an e-commerce site where this is your products, but you've actually got content all the way down here, then I would come down that extra 3rd level on your blog. And what you can do before you actually enter your content for your website, here in your empire, you can specify which aspects you want to export in the XML, right? So we can grab all of these, and I can say, remove the approval for publishing. And so then that's going to take away the little world from everywhere. And then I can just say, okay, I want to grab my silo landing pages. This is the only part of my blog that I actually, or the only part of my site that I actually want to publish. I'm going to click these, approved for publishing, and then I hit the export, and it's going to export just the silo landing level. Just that level right there, just the silo landing page level. And those will all be static pages. And it'll go ahead and create the categories for those pages. And then as you come down here and you're blogging about stuff, you can create more categories if you want to get more specific about the lower levels, or you can just use tags for the other keywords. And so in that way, what you've got is you've got this structure. You've got these pages, which are actually static pages. They're going to rank really nice and easily on your blog. And so they're going to pass consistent page rank back to your website. And then as you post underneath that, these pages, if you're going to link these pages anywhere, they link back to the appropriate silo pages on your website. And as you actually post blog posts on this next level down, then those blog posts are going to link back to the appropriate pages, the appropriate category pages on your website. And so in that way, you're mirroring the theme, you're getting the URL structure on both sites, you've got different content on both sites, but what that does is it provides an incredible thematic relevance going from the link in your blog to the link on your website. And so where, like, the whole point of the silo structure is to help you establish what this set of pages is about. And when you establish that clearly on a website on-site, then you need fewer inbound links to further establish that. So what you're doing here is you're creating another set of thematic relevance, and you're linking this back over, and Google's just eating that up in terms of understanding exactly what the keywords are, exactly what the themes are on the page. You want to use, when you post on a blog post here, like let's say you're posting like let me bounce up again. Let's say all 4 of these blog posts are supporting this one page. And this one page has got like 4 or 5 keywords. It's got an entire keyword DNA for this page. So you can write 4 different blog posts. Each one of those can target a different one of those keywords, and all of them can link back to this one side of the landing page. Right, and then you can go off and you can talk about this one. And the whole idea is you mix it up. Like, you don't just hit one page and do 20 articles on one page, one topic, and then 20 articles on the next topic. But I'm just showing you, like, I'm just giving an example on how you can do that. So you can easily write, like, before you've even completely covered your keyword DNA, you're writing 3 to 7 pages, 3 to 7 articles on each one of the pages over here on your website. And then that just comes along. Typically it comes along as the news comes along, either as you have a product that you want to talk about, or there's something in the news that you want to curate, or you're having a sale about something, or whatever. For whatever reason it is that you want to write a blog post, you write the blog post, you determine the keyword based on the relevance of the blog post, and it should be natural, but you should also diversify based on your keyword DNA for your core site. Is that clear as mud?
It was clear. Let me see. Guys, can you put some feedback in the box to make sure everybody understood that?
I have had a lot of coffee. I apologize.
Yes, you have. You have. You've had enough for both of us. Well, not really.
No.
Yeah, everybody seems to get that.
Good.
Okay. All right, so we've already given away a couple of actually major monstrous secrets in this webinar. Are there anything, we're going to bring it to a close because you guys aren't giving us anywhere near enough questions.
And Stephen, I will look into that. Like, somebody else brought that exact same concept up to me in the last week, and so I will look into that whole HTML/blog issue and see if I can find a solution for that. Front page 2003 is pretty. What kind of a platform would you be interested in? Are you looking for like a SaaS where a whole team can work on it, or are you looking for a one-person solution that's just a little bit more, I don't know, HTML5 friendly than front page 2003?
Okay. Yeah. I want to answer Craig's question when you're done.
Go for it.
Craig, please visit the themezoomglossary.com, and under M, go to Market Domination Webbring. Or you can visit networkempire.com/blog and look at the article that's pinned to the top called The Socially Activated OneWeb Wearing Perpetual Downstream Traffic System. Wow, I said it without stumbling. If you click on the link, there's a link there that goes to the animation that Sue had up when we began this call. Can you put that back here, Sue? Show that
Which one?
Your opening, yeah. This is the diagram that you'll be able to gain access to. And it's a great question, and I really appreciate you asking it, Craig. Obviously,
I want to repeat the question.
Yeah, the question for everybody, thank you, is sorry, I'm having a really weird time with the GoToMeeting technology. Okay, the question here is, why do I not see this question here?
What should come first?
What should come first, posting the content from DWS into MoneySite, or set up the one feed to rule them all? Chicken or the egg. You definitely do not want to set up the one Webbring to rule them all, because you won't have anywhere to drive the traffic. So start from the center and move out. That's why I gave numbers on that graph. Number 1, create your domain web studio. Wow, I'm going to really sneeze here. I'm sorry. So can you finish?
You bet. You want to create your money site first, and then once you have your money site created, you want to create your blog, and once you have your blog created, you want to create your RSS feeds. And
yeah. And this is
I would even say that before you do the RSS feed setup, you want to hit your primary accounts. So in other words, you want Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, there's Pinterest, your 5 main accounts, and that way, as you go to set up your downstream RSS feed, If you're going to like use Twitter feed, you've got the Facebook accounts and the Twitter accounts to feed that into.
Yeah. Craig, what are you selling? I should make them all tell me what they're selling.
It should be part of them. We can make that part of the webinar.
Yeah.
All sorts.
Okay, affiliate, all right.
Okay.
All right, cool. So the way that it works, and again, it's interesting because, we have a pretty good idea. What I've learned from Sue and Matt's, and I've really honed my skills on this, is you can pretty much get a strong prediction on how much you stand to make. It costs money to build a website, silo architecture site, but we've lowered that cost to like ridiculous. Even if you're a hobbyist, you can do it. So first build the kind of authority site. I mean, for me, 5 silos is enough. I even have one with 3 that's doing pretty well.
Yeah, 3 would be the minimum, I think.
Yeah, I'm very big into video website site architecture because I'm a salesman, and if the video doesn't have great information but also a call to action on that silo landing page, to me, I feel naked now if I have a website that's got no video call to action on the silo landing page. That's just me. It also does depend on the site, but then there should be supporting articles that again speak to the point that's on the silo landing page. And the purpose of those videos, however they're done, and we've covered this in the video website site architecture course, the structure still needs to be carefully thought out in Domain Web Studio and Kraken and TOKT. Like, in other words, use the best words that have the most profitable money on the money tree. Because your website silo architecture is a money tree, literally. If you stack it in the way we're showing you and doing the research in the way we're showing you, it is a money tree, the most profitable possible money tree for keywords and ranking. So when you put the videos on there by that time, you're going to even know what language you should be using in the sales. You're speaking to the pain. And then so you create your video core site, which is going to be based on evergreen pages following the Domain Web Studio plugin. Okay, it's made with pages, not so much posts, right, Sue?
Right, it's posts on the lowest levels.
Yeah, on the lowest level is posts, but the upper levels, those are your evergreen pages because they're not going to change tons and they're not about broadcasting. Those are going to be your permanent pages. Why? Because they're the bullseye that you're throwing all these evergreen traffic systems at. Okay, and sure, Craig, if you build your WR1 transaction site and those evergreen silo pages in WordPress, yeah, they'll be on your feed if you set the feed to have pages on them. And so that's kind of cool, if you do an RSS feed to your main site, but that's not really the point. The point is that on your blog, when you have all this set up, then and only then, and it's surprising how many people have no patience to finish their site. They want to start publishing in their blog before they have this all set up. Don't do that. Set your blog, your silo website, silo architecture up first so that you have this stable evergreen infrastructure that benefits from all the backlinks that you're going to be creating when you rapid fire all the different publishing systems we're showing you, including the new course that we just finished yesterday, okay, the 5 streams of real-time news curation course. Okay, until you have a solid, evergreen, high-ranking website silo architecture site in place, you're not, you're throwing those backlinks at something that's not as strong as it could be. So wait before you do your one feed. Your one feed is super important on your rapid-fire blog. In other words, if you have 4 blog posts going out every day, every day, woo, that'd be great. Every day on your WR1 blog, that is your broadcasting category, okay? The one feed is very important because the whole purpose of RSS feeds is to go out there and get pinged through Samson, through Pingler, through through the one feed splice system, right? People are very attracted to doing that because it feels like they're doing that and they can sense the richness and the effects that you get from that. But it's kind of not that helpful if you're not driving those visitors on that blog post to a call to action that drives them back to the same silo landing page that's theme mirrored, that's got the same topic. So build your house on granite, marble, and diamond, which is your website silo architecture. Take the time, take the couple of weeks it takes to build the solid architecture on the WR1 site before you start getting all excited and going out and publishing, because publishing is more fun, I get that, you're broadcasting and all that. But make sure that you have your solid infrastructure before you start using all these powerful broadcasting methods and plugging and blogging methods, because you'll be so glad you did, because you're going to be providing all that theme mirroring, the keyword thematic relationships, the backlinks, and ultimately highly converting traffic through your headline DNA and your article DNA to your primary site. Does that make sense? Okay.
Excellent.
So it's really not a chicken or the egg. I mean, the chicken, I mean, the chicken is your website. So I mean, that's the goose. That's actually the goose that laid the golden egg. If you build your website style architecture, you're building a goose that has a golden egg. If you're not, you're just building, scrambled eggs, kind of. That's what most people are doing. So build your website style architecture first, and then start publishing your blogs. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, you guys. It's been Fabio, darlings. Let me see what we got going on. He's gonna
Webinar recording or plan for one in the future. How to silo a large e-commerce site.
Wow.
You're not the first person to ask me that. Yeah.
I think in next month we could, in a month or so, we could have that.
Yeah. This month is kind of packed as far as webinars go,
Yeah,
but you're like,
yeah.
you're the second or third person to ask me that.
Unless you want to give us $5.
I can tell you quickly, like really quickly, that there's not any issue. Like e-commerce sites just so lend themselves to a silo structure because you've got your categories across the top, and then under each category of products, you've got those related products, right? So like if you've got let's take this one here. Like, let's say you've got women's clothes here, and then you've got women's blouses under that, and then you've got, button-down blouses and pull-over-the-head blouses, or the individual actual specific products that sit down here at that level. So it just naturally silos. It's not a big deal. And probably the biggest question is, how do you want to silo it, right? Like, do you silo it by demographics? Do you silo it by like, there's just choices. Like, geez Louise, I waxed eloquent.
I really feel like you guys, I mean, we've had people come to Sue's events, just on this topic, and it's taken 4 days. So we've had conversations about maybe having an overview webinar, but even then, I would be almost worried about confusing you. So, we do private consultations on this topic. This is where the big bucks are. If you're doing really, really huge sites, and we can show you stuff, it'd be better if you contact us for networkempirecoaching.com for that if you had a site to actually work on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I've noticed. Or come to a live certification event one-on-one. For really, really big e-commerce sites, I promise you the most enlightening thing I've done is watch Sue deal with really large sites. Okay?
It's so much fun.
Oh man, the challenge, and that's why I'm kind of protective of that, because it's just not a webinar type topic, not really. I mean, my head was spinning like with some of our larger clients like Northline Express and all these other great people we have in the family. Some of these things are major projects where people have moved, or I think the wine cellar is another one. I could go on and on, stuff that Sue has done. These are not things that I would do without her. They're just, not without her military level programming skills and just insight. It's too big for me by myself. So, but it's really fun when we get into it together, because then we have the persuasion architecture.
Yep.
And then we get into the highly technical things, like when you're dealing with things like Magento. I mean, we learn stuff too. Like Magento is in a huge changing environment. We had some real challenges with some of the Magento plugins.
Yeah.
And it's too much to cover in an hour-long webinar.
That's, like the plugins, like what you can do from a technical perspective that can absolutely undermine all of your SEO. I mean, I've only seen Sue pull her hair out a couple times, and when it came to a couple of the Magento plugins, that was mostly because some of our clients like to put things in there even when we warn them. But I mean, when they go in there, you guys, if you have big clients like that, you really do need to be aware of these things. So, feel free to contact us if you're feeling insecure and you're about to go into a really big project. Give us a buzz or take an hour consulting with us. It's worth it. Yeah.
So we will save you a ton of time.
And if you have a very specific question, I'm happy to answer it in an email. But if you want to just sit and rap about it, then we should get on a Skype call.
Yeah, you need a consultation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. I'm so grateful that you guys made it today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I didn't get to every one of your questions, but hopefully you are beginning to get the picture of how big this thing can go. I mean, my vision, I can be honest with you from the core, that my vision for each and every one of you is you're sitting back like I'm doing right now on my 60-inch monitor, my 40-inch monitor, and I've got 3 of them surrounding me, On one of them, I'm just watching traffic in real time, just pass through 5 different websites. And Sue is trying to help me actually watch my conversion in real time. This is what I want you to be able to have your network watching it live, watching what's working. And if you don't want to watch it live, obviously don't. My point is that you can make traffic 15 minutes from now that actually converts, and when you watch your PayPal account fill up throughout the day. I want that for you, and I want you to do it on a massive scale, not limited to one thing. So that you can, and the real hope that I have for each one of you is to be able to live your dreams, because I'm sitting here, aside from my 55-inch monitor, I'm not going to be able to take that one with me to Hawaii when I go on vacation. That Sue's going to let me do in a couple months. But heck, I'll take my laptop. Guys, we have one of the most portable businesses in the world. I mean, look what we have here. And I want that for each and every one of you. So don't overcomplicate. If you get confused, go back to the map that Sue has built on the web ring, the one web ring system, okay, and the flash animation that I built based on it. And go back from the beginning and ask yourself, where's my traffic come from? Where's the transaction? What's the one-line zinger?
Oops, we lost you. Don't know if he's going to come back from that one. So thanks so much, folks. Are you back, Russ?
Okay, sorry. I am. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, don't get me ranting. It's just I want you to know that both Sue and I do have an immense amount of hope for what I want your life to look like. I have all kinds of ideas for your life, probably more than you might. Sorry, that sounded terrible. I really want you, what I really mean is that I want you all to just have a license to print money. I mean, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because what I've learned from Sue and Matt over the last, how long has Matt been with us, Sue?
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, there was major pieces as a marketer that I was missing. These guys are giving me a license to print money. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I want you to have that too.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
So Russell Wright and Sue Bell, signing off. We look forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Please pay attention to your inbox. I'll send out, when Sue's ready, I'll send out the next link, and we'll go ahead and get you guys in the next webinar. I promise that it'll be something that we haven't revealed in this one. We look so forward to seeing you on the next webinar. Thanks,
guys.